Hi, it's 21 Times from PokédexCentral.com, and I just want to talk to you. I got two things on board here for today. So the first thing I want to do is I want to share the results of my study on the card, Copycats. And then the next thing, and we'll do this for just a minute because there's just a couple things I want to speak to. And then we're going to go to a deck that you have never seen before. Something completely original and will probably not do very well, but you know what? We're going to try it out. But first, I wanted to speak to Copycat. We all know what this card does. It enters the meta at a great time because, we lost End, we lost Sycamore. Everybody's like, what are we going to use for Dressboard? Now we've got this potential in Copycat. And so we know what Copycat does. You shuffle your hand into your deck and draw a card for each card in your opponent's hand. It can be fantastic and it can be absolutely abysmal. So I played Copycat 72 times in the last week and a half. And I started the day of rotation because I didn't want to take any data from the previous format. I wanted to make sure I was just using data from the new format on so it would be quote-unquote pure. Wouldn't be tainted potentially by being from the old format. And I was guessing that, Copycat was probably going to net you in the neighborhood of 5.5 cards, and it did. In 72 plays, it averaged 5.39 cards per play. However, this is a great example of how statistics can say something, but then if you dig a little bit deeper, you can find something just a little bit different. This is, Mark Twain had the best quote when he said, there are lies, there are damned lies, and there are statistics. And this is what people always talk about, statistics can be made up to say whatever they want to say. And absolutely. And you will see here, I'll show you how statistics can show you one thing, and yet if I manipulate it a different way, it'll show you something else. So if you look at it, like I said, just straight up average, on average, it drew 5.39 cards per play. So what that means is that the average hand size for any player, for both you and your opponent, the average hand size is 5.39 cards at the end of any given turn. This is basically what it means. Your hand size obviously varies during the course of your turn, but at the end of your turn, the average hand size is 5.39 cards. I did not test for the beginning of the game, middle of the game, end of the game. I didn't put a turn number on it. I probably should have, but it's hard to tell what turns are unless you go into the log screen. But anyway. So the key highlights here, it drew 6 or more cards 53% of the time, and I'm going to get into that in just a second. When it drew 6 or more cards, it averaged actually 9.5 cards per play. It drew 6 or 7 cards 40% of the time, and it drew 3 or more cards 92% of the time. So only 8% of the time did you only get 1 or 2 cards out of Copycat. And as I mentioned in the article, so many people now are running Oranguru, and even double. I'm running double Oranguru. I love it. It's fantastic. Donald from Dark and Tugro Gaming is right. It is a fantastic card coupled with Ultra Ball. I wish I had 8 Ultra Balls so I could continue to thin my deck, and I would just play 4 Mallow, and that's the only card I would need. Support card I would need. Which is actually going to tie into my next deck, but I'm jumping ahead. So there are a couple of different ways to look at this. So this is the total that I have. I've played, these are the number of cards that I got. Only one time did I play it did I actually get 1 card. And chances are when I played that I had double Oranguru. I drew into something that was an insta-play card, and I probably got 3 extra cards from Oranguru. And then who knows how many from the second Oranguru. So, like I said, just because you're putting a small number of cards in your hand isn't necessarily a bad thing if you have double Oranguru. That 1 could easily have been a 3 or 4 or even a 5. So when you look at this, think about that. If you have Zoroark-GX, if you have Oranguru, if you have Swampert, it's not such a bad thing to only put maybe two cards in your hand. Now, granted, you're probably going to have a tough decision when you have to decide what to discard from Zoroark or Swampy, but it's a little bit misleading that you're saying you're only getting 1, 2, or 3 cards when potentially it could very well be more than that. So when I talk about those, when I say statistics, you know, lies, damn lies, and statistics. So here's where it goes into something else. So so the average, the straight average here is 8. If you look at it here, so if you're just taking this, but I mean the real average is 5.39 cards per play. But I mean, if you look at it, like I said, and this is the running total, so 65% of the time you're getting 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9 cards. And so you could see here that on average, yes, on average you're getting 5.39 cards, but most of the time you play it, you're only going to play it here. So what that means is that you probably have Cynthia, or you have Guzma, or you have Mallow, or you have something else that you could play, Tate and Liza. You have something else in your hand, and that's why if you got 4, 3, you know, if I had 4, 3, or 2 cards in my hand, I only played about a third of the time, because chances are, in my opponent's hand, because chances are I had something else that I could play that would give me better. If I have Cynthia and Copycat in my hand, I'm going to play Cynthia. There's just, you know, almost 100 times out of 100 you're going to play Cynthia if you have Cynthia and Copycat in your hand, and your opponent has 4, 3, 2, or 1 cards in their hand. So now, again, there are some exceptions to that. If you're playing Garchomp, you may want to play, you know, and you have an Oranguru on the bench, then you may want to play, you know, your Copycat to save it so you can attack with Cynthia and get the bonus damage, you know, something like that. There are exceptions, but you know, 2/3 of the time when it gets played, it's getting you 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9 cards. So if I come over to my raw data, I'm going to filter, and I'm only going to filter on, was it 5 or was it 6? I can't remember. Let me look at my video here real quick. Yeah, it was 5 or more. So again, there were 47 instances of that. And again here, 47 instances. So you can see the data ties. I mean, then it showed, I mean, this is a pivot table that drives straight from this, so there's no reason it's not going to tie. But you can see all of a sudden the average becomes 6.5. So you could see that, and I think I mistyped, so I better change my article here. Because I put 9.5, and I knew that, looking back at that, that's not right. Come on, WordPress. I'm going to pause for a second. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. Sometimes when this happens, though, my screen recording software crashes, so hopefully that won't happen. But as you can see here, when it drew 5 or more cards, it averaged 6.5 cards per play. Let's update this. Good. So let's get a little bit ahead of myself. So again, this is what I say, is that 2/3 of the time, it's going to get you either 6 or 7 cards. 1/3 of the time, it's going to get you something less than that, 1, 2, 3, or 4. But chances are you have some additional draw support on your bench that's going to get you more cards. So the easy answer is it averages 5.39 cards a play. You might as well play Tate and Liza because of the additional functionality that Tate and Liza gives you. Maybe you play a single Copycat because it's a home run hitter, and if your opponent plays a Tempest GX, then you get 10 cards in your hand too. That's the easy answer. That's just looking at the superficial top level analysis. If you dig a little bit deeper, you get to see, oh, wait a minute. In reality, most of the time, this is going to get me 6.5 cards. It's either 6 or 7 cards, in which case it might even be better than Cynthia. It just kind of depends on the situation. So it's not clear cut, because if you can get 7 cards, that's way better than Tate and Liza, because Tate and Liza drawing you 5 cards is not very good. Remember how we all made fun of Shauna and said Shauna's terrible, it's an awful card, and yet people are really considering Tate and Liza. And I agree. I mean, 5 cards is less than desirable. Cynthia is great at 6, and I'm a big proponent. That was my all August. My whole every archetype I played was Drampa Big Wheel followed by Cynthia and Hala, and every time I knew I was getting either 6 or 7 cards, and it worked great. I mean, there were very few times when I was actually stuck. And if you use Delcatty, you could go get any 2 cards any 2 supporters you want out of your discard. So this is what I'm talking about when I say, it's things aren't always super clear cut. And when they say, there are lies, damn lies, and statistics, and numbers can be made up to tell whatever you want, this is what they mean. Because there are 2 levels of analysis here. The top level says, yeah, sure, you can get 5.39 cards per play. No way. This is Tate and Liza all the way. You can dig a little bit deeper, then you say, well, you know what, though? Maybe this is the better play. So I presented the information to you. I presented the analysis to you. You go ahead and make up your mind for whatever you want to do with it. Personally, for me, it's going to depend on the deck. Some decks I'll play it, and some decks I won't. But definitely, especially if you're running a deck with Tapu Lele, yeah, there's no question that this is at least a one of. And, for the fortunate times when your opponent does Big Wheel or Drampa or Algorithm or does something, at the end of the game that generates you a huge amount of cards. But now we are going to go on to the deck that I'm really focusing on here, because I have spent way too much time talking about Copycat. So Dragon Majesty drops today, lots of fire, and so I'm looking at various water decks. Marquee EXP posted a great Swampy Sableye pairing yesterday. I showed Melodic and Ninetales. Use that deck at your peril. Full disclaimer: don't be surprised if you lose some games with it. And similar with this deck here. This is Zoroark-GX and Greninja-GX. Again, don't be surprised if you lose some games with this. But I'm coming back, and I'm going to, the definition of insanity, trying the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. So I do have to say, when it comes to that, I love that phrase, because from 2000 to 2008, I worked in a credit card statement facility, and we would literally do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result when our machine broke down. You would push a sequence of buttons, or you would, move some levers in a different way, or you'd make some adjustments, and you'd do the same thing, and you would hope it would start. You would, adjust a panel to make sure to see if the magnet was in the right place, to hold the sensor in the right place. You would literally do this 5 or 6 or 7 times exactly the same way, and then like the 7th time it would work. So I'm coming back to the well with GRI Sableye and Limitation. I've played this in a couple matches so far. I've played 3 matches. I've won 1 and lost 2. There have been a couple matches where I've had Sableye up top, and I just see, click your turn, click your turn, click your turn from the opponent, because they can play nothing. They can literally do nothing with their hand. So in the past, whenever I've played this card, I'll play it for like 4 or 5 games. In every game, my opponent attacks on turn 1 and KOs at turn 1, and just goes off. And it never seems to work. But I'm going to give it a shot here. We're going to see what happens. Like I said, I've won 1 game with it, and I think the other game where it was very effective was, I potentially might have been able to win that. I did make a big misplay at the end. I had energy attached to Greninja-GX, and I forgot to add a Wishful Baton in hand. I attacked, and I just totally forgot to attach my Wishful Baton. which would have transferred energy over onto Oranguru. And I would have been able to attack and KO his Pokemon with Oranguru, which would have dropped me down to 1 prize. I don't know if I would have been able to win beyond that because I had like 3 prizes, but it was really close at least. But anyway, so we're going to give this a shot. This is the deck list. So you notice too, I'm going to try to counter, and I haven't tried this yet, but try to put Rainbow Energies on Greninjas so I can pick them up with Acerola and use them again. If I had the room, I would bring in some, I would try some Super Scoop Ups, but I'm also going to try Lure Ball since Zoroark has to discard stuff, and I'm going to hopefully be able to discard Greninjas or Frogies and then bring them back with Lure Ball. I don't know if this is really going to work. I'm really strange. I'm using Mallow and I'm using Apricorn Maker. I did see a great posting on Reddit the other day that showed that Apricorn Maker was far more likely to give you 2 Zoroark-GXs than simply playing Cynthia was. If you use, I mean, this was another example of, is this common sense or is it common sense? Because, yeah, obviously, if you play Apricorn Maker, you're going to be able to go get 2 Greninja-GXs, or Zoroark-GXs, no problem. If you play Cynthia, though, you know, the common thinking is, oh, well, maybe I'll draw into 2, and then I'll get an energy too. Well, the idea here is go get your Zoroark-GXs, and then use trade to get you those additional cards. And not waste your time with Cynthia, which may not even draw into 1 Zoroark-GX. So, you know, we'll see what happens. I am not particularly confident in this list. I have tried Zoroark Greninja before and it hasn't worked, and I've tried Sableye before and it doesn't work. So it seems like I'm taking 2 wrongs and expecting them to make a right, but we're going to find out. So neither of us have the advantage. All right, he's taking a minute to call the coin flip. So yeah, I don't fault people for, you know, taking extra time because you never know when they're making notes. I obviously make a ton of notes. It's probably very annoying to be on the other side of the board from me when I'm playing online because I know there are times when I spend significant periods of time, you know, making notes in my Excel spreadsheet. So. All right, so I'm going first. And I start with Sableye, but I do not start with a Dark Energy. That's not good. But I've got Cynthia and Mallow, which makes me think that I grabbed the wrong version of this deck. All right, so you're going to see a match with the prior version that I had without Zoroark. Oops. Well, you can see my old build once. I'll show you the old build too. This one has double Oranguru as the deck engine. And it's interesting how we really are talking about, you know, deck engines. It seems like just about every deck has an engine. Stack Attacker. Okay, so I can use the Rainbow Brush. So since I have Stack Attack, okay, so I'm missing Oranguru. I don't have a list to write down. missing a Froakie. I'm missing a Frogadier. Probably a Cynthia, probably a Mallow. But I have all my energy. Awesome, this is going to thin out my deck. See, I want to make sure that I included a lot of Insta-Play cards here. Not quite enough Insta-Play cards. All right, so there we go. I'll be able to Mallow though for a Froakie or for a nest ball. I want to make sure that I grab a nest ball so I thin the deck, and not just for a Froakie itself. Because what you find a lot of times is if you fill up your deck, you fill up your bench a lot with this. So I got a couple turns at least before he can attack me. But with that, with Ultra Space, he'll be able to get out all of his Pokemon. He's drawing into 4 here. So that is less than desirable. So we'll drop the Froakie first and follow it with the Cynthia. Just don't want to put an energy on Oranguru. All right. Duskmane. So I do not know that I would play Metal Pokemon right now. But we'll see. You know, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe nobody will be playing Fire today. But we'll see. I probably should have done a Mallow instead of Cynthia. But that's fine. This is a big deal if he doesn't have any energy in his hand. Because every turn I can build things up. Just makes it better for me. I could potentially hold the Cynthia for a turn. You know what? I'm going to do that. He's still 2 turns away from attacking me, so. So we can see the power of Supporter Lock. I remember when this first came out, I tried it with Vileplume, with the item lock, trying to get item and Supporter Lock. But that just wasn't really feasible. The deck was too clunky. It was just not, it wasn't working. The key to item lock was Forest of Giant Plants. That really made that. The confluence of that and Shaman, and being able to go rip through 30 cards of your deck on your first turn. That was really the key difference maker. That really made item lock so potentially one-sided. I'm going to play. Oh, so great. So you can see, again, this is just like Melodic yesterday. Definitely not something I would take to any kind of tournament. Definitely not something I would ever play at a tournament here on PTCGO, in an event on PTCGO. But, you know, a lot of times you get this is what happens. People just, they get frustrated and they're like, oh, this isn't a meta deck. I won't ever have to really worry about this. And then they move on. Okay. Neither. Yeah, I'll go first. That's fine. So and obviously you can't attack on your first turn, and if you go second, your opponent will get a chance to play a support. So your opponent's getting a chance to play a supporter at least once. There's nothing you can do to prevent that. It's not like that item lock Vileplume, where you could theoretically, and I think like at one time it was calculated out to be like 70 or 72% of the time you could actually get the item lock up turn one going first. All right, so I'm gonna Apricorn Maker. So this is where I'm trying it. Right, so one of my lure balls, or did I cut back to one lure ball? One of my lure balls is missing. I know I have a timer ball in hand, so I got all those in a 3-nest ball, 4-nest ball. So I got 4-nest ball. Okay. Missing 2 Zorua. That is less than desirable. Put 4 Zorua in here, right? Rainbow in hand. 8 energy. Okay, so I got all my energy cards. So this is what I'm talking about with the idea being, let's use Apricorn Maker and some of this other stuff to try to get things going. And just let Zoroark be the draw engine itself. All right, so not off to a good start. Obviously, you want to get the Sableye in the active. You want to start Sableye. Going up against Espeon. I don't know if Espeon GX is still a meta. It wasn't played hardly at all at Worlds. With the diminished amount of fighting that we're going to see, and if anything, we're seeing an increase in Zygarde and a decrease in everything else. And a decrease in Buzzwole. Over the dark energy on Zoroark. So the advantage to that is that I could potentially use Zoroark's GX attack. I don't know if this is the right idea or not, but it's the only one I've got in hand right now. All right, so we're going to go get Zoroark. not going so well. So, yeah. So you can see if you don't start Sableye, you're a little bit worse off. And I have, like I said, I've got virtually no draw support here. I just have Mallow. So I mean, that could be a big mistake too. But I'm going to try it out, and we'll see what happens. Obviously, it's not happening in this game. I'm going to call Greninja-GX not meta, just because, it just wasn't at Worlds at all, and it just doesn't, seems like people are moving on to other things. Alright, so he's going to bring up Lunala, so actually I want to put Psychic and Dark as the type of weaknesses. So you can see all the different things that I'm tracking. So potentially, I'll leave that open. So whenever somebody hits for weakness, that's when I record it. Even, like right now, he has weakness, but it's not a factor because I'm not currently attacking Lunala GX or Lunala there. So if he would, it's fine. I'm obviously going to give you that. Alright, so he's going to get to put a couple energy. That could be a mistake. We're going to find out. I'm doing enough to KO him right now. Unfortunately, I have no way to get my active to get Zoroark into my active. But you can sure as heck bet that I'm going to pull it out next turn, and I'm going to Oko Lunala. And I'm going to have 2 Zoroark on the board. Alright, so I'm not completely out of this, but it's not looking good. And obviously I use tons of items in this deck, so his Gardevoir is going to Oko my Zoroark, so I'm probably going to lose this one and lose it spectacularly. But we will see. I could also promote Sableye, but he's just going to Oko Sableye, so there's no point. Really, if you don't get Sableye early, and I mean, I think that I remember having a discussion with someone when it first came out that you could potentially use it late to prevent players from using Guzma. Well, it was Lysander at the time, but I really think that if you don't use Sableye early. But again, here in Zoroark-GX, it's perfect because you can drop it down on the bench and it's 20 extra damage for you. All right, so that's very. So I either so there's no question. I pulled the Zoroark-GX, and then I trade twice. So hopefully, I will trade into another supporter card, which I did, which I can't use. So yeah, we'll put the, oh yeah, I can use the, right, so we'll trade away the Acerola. I can use Trickster. If I use Trickster, how many items does he have? Oh, I don't want to do that. We're going to save Trickster since I could KO him right here just with Righteous Beating. And great. So what comes here, I put my vote and yes. Does he have enough to? No, he does not. There are only 6 items. That's only 150. And I'm going to do 120. The question is, do I trade away? Oh, of course, yes, I trade away the Rainbow Energy, no problem. And hopefully I can start getting into some of my Greninjas here. Oh, Dawn Wings. Great. Thank you for putting down Dawn Wings. That was very nice of you. I got a chance. I don't know how good of a chance it's going to be, but I got a chance. All right, so obviously I'm going to trade away the Rainbow Energy because I can go get. All right, so I want a Zoroark, and I want a Dark Energy. Actually, I want something completely worthless, which I don't know. Yeah, I can do Sableye. Great. All right, so now he's just going to bring up Dawn Wings and probably use Dawn Wings GX attack. So we'll see what happens. I would take him down to 3 prize cards, and I would not be able to attack him in the next turn. Of course, that means he's got to have Dawn Wings on the bench. It's going to be a little bit difficult for him to power up Dawn Wings. Does he not realize that Dawn Wings is weak to me? Ah, Beast Ring. Okay, got it. So I played right into that. So he's going to use Beast Ring, and he's going to use his attack. Awesome. I can potentially use Sableye's attack, though. He won't be able to play a supporter, at least. But that would put me down to 2 prizes. So it's going to be a rough one for me here. Although I will OHKO. Oh, but he just has to divide GX on his next turn after that. So, yeah, I'm pretty much done here. There's no question that he's going to beat me in this game. I don't see any path to victory. Well, that was nice of him to give me an extra card. Again, not really sure that... I don't think that Marshadow is as disruptive as everyone thinks it is. You know, as I mentioned earlier, the average card size, the average hand size is 5.39 cards. If you're putting 4 cards, that's only a little bit below average. There's really a good chance that you're okay. So he only hits me for 120. Maybe I just put the Zoroark up. Maybe I put the Greninja up, and I try to get into an Acerola because he's only going to do 120. Yeah, let's try that. I don't know if this is the right play or not. And probably it wasn't, but we'll see. What do I want to put 3 damage counters on? We're going to try this. Mallow, Frogadier, and Acerola. Or you know what? I can even for another energy, and then I can just use his attack. Now, I can retreat. I can just retreat, and I can't attack. Yeah, I can't attack him this turn. But okay, yeah, I can't attack this turn. It's fine. Now I have the option of, okay, I think I got it. If I used Greninja's GX attack, I can OHKO the Espeon on the bench there. And then he'll take 2 prizes on Greninja GX. But then I'll be able to just drop back and he'll OHKO oh, he has a hammer. Okay. Okay, I think I got a path here. Because I one-shot Dawn Wings. And the Crosby GX can't attack. Yeah. So if he brings up Espeon and just does divide and takes out, my 2 little babies on the bench there, that's fine. Because then I can just hit him with, what's it called? Haze Slash, and he's KO'd. Now his Necrozma, that's 50, right? Or is it 60? Yeah, 60. So, okay, so he's going to divide. That's great, because I will just use Haze Slash. Oh, he didn't divide. Oh, wow. Wow. That's so awesome. That is such a mistake on his part. That was a really big mistake on my opponent's play. It was a very big misplay by him. So we're going to trade. Oh no, I put the energy down in the wrong one. Ah, crap. That was stupid. Trade. Oh, what a mistake. Oh, what a terrible mistake. Terrible, 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 terrible mistake. Oh, big mistake. So I just lost the game. I had a path, and I blew it. Shit. I put the energy down on the wrong Pokemon. If I would have been able to Haze Slash there, I would have KO'd him, and I would have KO'd him. And that, well, but he still would have been able to do a boatload of damage down on my Zoroark-GX. So does 100 damage to each Pokemon GX. I'm sure it doesn't apply weakness or isn't affected by weakness or resistance. Yeah, I had a chance and I blew it. Yeah. Completely misplayed. Maybe I can use Shadowy Hunter. Oh, maybe I got it here. Oh, maybe. Oh, man. Oh, I think I got it. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I think. Trickster GX and oh no, I can only use my opponent's. I can't use my. Oh, if I could have used Shadowy Hunter there. Oh, if I was going to try to use Shadowy Hunter. If I could have used Shadowy Hunter there. Oh, man. Then I would have gotten it because it's 130. It would have been the exact amount that I need. Oh, buggers. But he can't attack me. He put the wrong Pokemon up. He can't attack me. And he played how? He can't use Guzma. Oh, great. Fantastic. Oh, but I only do 120. So I've got to find Greninja-GX. Oh, good. I got one in the discard. Okay. Woo! So, crazy game. Crazy game. So yeah, you can power up Dawn Wings all you want there. At this point, there's nothing you can do. I gotcha. Whew. So went from misplaying and then misplaying on top of misplaying because I wouldn't have been able to use Shadowy Hunter anyway. But that's fine because the effect is on me, the effect is not on you. So you could tell the effect of an attack, whether it's on someone, which Pokemon it's on, because the little green arrow is here. So you can see that the effect of the attack is on me, and now I don't even have to. I can just simply ride this beating for game. Oh, wow, that was a good game. I'm really glad I got that on tape. Really glad I recorded that. That was a super match. Long, very long. 12 minutes by my opponent, 13 plus minutes by me, 25-minute game. Wow. All right, let's try it again. Again, I'm not a real strong advocate of this deck. But, you know, Zoroark anything, it's got to be meta, right? You can put Zoroark with Magikarp, and it would still be a good deck, right? All right, so I have the advantage. So let's look at it this way, though. I had the weakness advantage in that match, and I still came really, really close to losing. So let's put this in some perspective. I think I had the advantage there. The law firm of Sableye, Zoroark, Greninja. Again, don't get the Sableye start. Which I guess I got to show you in the first match, so at least you got to see it in that first little blurb. The power of limitation. Scissor, yeah. Did people just not get the memo that fire is coming? This is not good. No. This is bad. I see Dumb Eyes making a comeback. So, it's going to be pretty significant what I can. I mean, there's no point in playing this role. He's just going to Oko me. There's just nothing I can do here. I have a feeling that this deck is probably going to be that way, that it's going to be very slow starting, and it's going to have times just like, you know, Greninja break when it comes out of the box and is just completely dead. Yeah, if I don't get anything here, then I'm definitely gonna just concede. If I don't top deck, I need to top deck about 6 different cards right now. So that might be one of them. Trade away one of these Acerolas. Oh, at least I got a Rainbow Energy and a Froakie. Not sure that it's going to do me any good. Crosscut GX. This does 100 more damage, but he'll still he'll be able to crosscut me and KO me. I don't know. It certainly looks like my best option right now, considering Rach's beating does so little. Yeah, decreased by 60. Yeah, so even if I put down this, he's doing straight up 200 on me next turn, so he's going to KO me. Yeah, there's nothing going on here, so. Yeah. Yeah, I got nothing here, so there's no point. Yeah. So like I said, the one game I won had weakness advantage, and then the second game I completely dead out of the box, completely done on turn 1. So we'll see what happens here. It'd be nice to get a Sableye start. That would help. I would like to show off Sableye in a Sableye video. Mulligan. Mulligan. No. I have 4, 8, 12 basic Pokemon. The chances of me mulliganing with 12 basic Pokemon are like 7%. And no Sableye to start with. Awesome. That's ridiculous. Alright, so we'll put Rainbow. Go get a couple Nest Ball. Tire Ball here. Nope, so I'm missing a couple Tire Ball. Missing a Zoroark. Missing a GX. Missing a Greninja-GX and a Froakie. So hey, but I have all my energy. And I'll be able to use Sableye the next turn. So I can Acerola Froakie. And then put him back down. All right, so I will get to show you. So hopefully you won't be able to use Oranguru. Oh, this maybe is gonna be all right. And I'm sure he did not see that coming. Or maybe he did. I guess I could have just retreated, but that's fine. Maybe I should have just retreated, then I could have used the Mallow. All right, so I definitely want Zoroark-GX. I am definitely going to trade away that Lure Ball since it does me absolutely no good right now. Awesome. Imitation. Should have run the Spelunk. Yeah, the Spelunk is definitely the way better of the two. Oh, interesting. So he's going to try to attack with Oranguru eventually. Unbeknownst to him, I guess beknownst to him, shouldn't be too much of a surprise. I'm going to drop a ton of damage on him. Alright, so I definitely want a Nest Ball. And I'm going to go for another. Well, I can use the. Yeah, we'll go for another Mallow. This ball for another Froakie or another Zorua. Let's try Froakie. Because this way, next turn, I can put the Rainbow Energy down on Frogadier potentially to, I don't know if I want it. We will see. Okay, so he's going to be able to attack me on the next turn. Oh, that's great. So another 40, so another 20 puts him up to 40. Rainbow Energy or Dark Energy? Let's go Rainbow, since he hits in increments of 30s. Mallow. Or Greninja-GX. And Apricorn Maker. This is what it's all about. Little by little. Okay. All right, so yeah, we know he's gonna but obviously I have an easy, and I should have been putting all this damage down here. This was not smart on my part. Apricorn Maker, get an S ball, and we get a timer ball. An S ball, we'll drop a Zorua. Timer ball. We're getting a Greninja-GX. Trade away the dark energy. We're going to hold on to that dark energy for a minute. Alright, so now you see the floodgates open once Sableye goes away. I may just straight retreat. I don't know if I played this as well as I should have. I think maybe I should have developed a little bit more, or just kept Sableye, put another Sableye up there. Oh, good. So if I get Acerola, I'm in really good shape. Apricorn Maker, not Acerola. And I don't even have any balls left to search with. Not good, not good, not good, not good, not good. Not good. I'm in trouble. All right, so you saw me win a deck with this where I had weakness advantage barely. You saw me lose where I was Greninja, where I had a Greninja hand coming out of the box, and you're seeing me lose now to a Lowland Duck Trio. So you make the call for yourself, but I don't think this is a very good deck. So we'll see. You know, it's something that's different. You won't find a video for this on YouTube anywhere. And you did get to see, I mean, you saw how powerful Sableye is. So maybe it's just, you know, just Sableye your brains out and just, you know, just go with Sableye until the cows come home, you know. And just try to devolve the Greninjas off the bench. And again, I don't have any balls left to search with, so there's just no points. So, you know, maybe I'll come back to revisit this at some point. You know, part of this was, you know, I just kind of wanted to try Sableye again. And part of it is, too, you know, I kind of wanted to, I'll show you the deck list. You know, I kind of wanted to show, you know, what Sableye can do. And I'm also kind of looking at water decks because contrary to what we saw today with all the metal decks, this is going to be a great day to play Fire. That's all I can say. This is going to be a great weekend for Fire decks. It's Dragon Majesty's coming out. Everybody's playing. Seriously, let's take a look at it. Let's take a look. So, bear with me for just a moment here. Why are we so slow today? Why are we so slow? Okay. We got pivots. We're going to put type of feature Pokemon. We'll put that as the value, date, and result. Actually, we don't even need result. We just need type of feature Pokemon is metal and grass. 42. So 42 of the decks that I have played have been some combination of grass or metal as the feature Pokemon. How many decks have I played overall? Well, I'm glad you asked. 131 matches. In 131 matches, 42 have been weak to fire. Actually, I have that as. I have that. I don't even have to do this. I can do weakness of feature Pokemon. Metal. Grass. What does it say? Oh, wait. Weak to fire. Fire bad. 40. So we're either 40 or 42, something like that, somewhere in that range. Either way, it's a huge number. It's going to be like a third, right? Almost a third, or about a third. If it is 42, then it's a third of the decks that I've played have been weak to fire. And I guarantee you, we'll look at this a week from today, this number will not be 31%. I promise you. So that's just an example of how you use big data. Using big data will definitely help you, guide you to see what decks might be best to play, at least on PTCGO, because we certainly know that PTCGO is not what you find at a tournament. You're not going to find a Lowland Dog Trio at a tournament. You won't find probably Scissor GX at a tournament. And that's great. That's what I love about PTCGO, because it gives you so much more diversity. I mean, you basically have 3 different deck types when you go to a tournament. And if you play anything else, oh, it's horrible. You're not going to win. You know, you're ruined. You're doomed. Even though, you know, something outside the meta always shows up in the top 8. You know, even though, you know, right now, Shrine of Punishment, there are any number of decks that would just dominate Zoroark-GX and other, you know, meta decks. But, you know, what do I know? Anyway, I'm done tangenting. There's the list. Feel free if you have any suggestions. If you see something here that I might want to try. I don't know how much I'm going to do with this, but, you know, we'll see. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. As always, check out PokédexCentral.com. Lots of great things going on there. Thanks.